Good morning. My name is Stephanie Shine from Tennessee Shakespeare Company. Welcome back to the Decameron project. Today's date, April 16th, 2020. Today's theme, courage. On this date in history, in 1689, one of the most courageous people the literary world has known, Aphra Behn, said goodbye. Aphra Behn was one of the first women to make a living in England as a writer, and she is credited for being the first professional female playwright. But before she started writing plays, this courageous woman served as a spy for Charles II against the Dutch. And she also, this courageous woman, survived debtor's prison to emerge and decide she needed to make some money, so she turned to the theater. And make money she did. She wrote 20 plays, including The Rover, which is still performed today. The characters within her plays, the female characters in particular, really sort of shook off the 18 years of Puritanism that happened before the Restoration Theater. These women demanded the same rights and freedoms and liberties as the male characters, including sexual freedom. Aphra Behn was extremely successful in her lifetime. She was popular, she was famous, until the late 1680s. At that time, the public sort of turned against bawdy plays, and especially plays written by a woman. So she wrote quite eloquently about her right to write these plays in a prologue to one of her final plays called The Lucky Chance, and here is that prologue. Read my comedies and compare them with others of this age, and if they find one word that can offend the chastest ear, I will submit to all their peevish cavils. All I ask is the privilege for my masculine part, the poet in me, if any such you will allow me, to tread in those successful paths my predecessors have so long thrived in. If I must not, because of my sex, have this freedom, I lay down my quill. I value fame as much as if I had been born a hero. And if you rob me of that, I can retire from the ungrateful world and scorn its fickle favors. Well, she did retire from the stage, and she spent the final couple of years of her life publishing poetry and 3 novels, including a small novel that confronted slavery called Orung Oko. Aphra also understood the great courage it took to fall in love. And she understood what love can do to those of us who are lucky enough to fall in love. This is from her poem, Song. O love, that stronger art than wine, pleasing delusion, witchery divine, want to be prized above all wealth, disease that has more joys than health. Though we blaspheme thee in our pain, and of thy tyranny complain, we are all bettered by thy reign. What reason never can bestow, we to this useful passion owe. Love wakes the dull from sluggish ease, and learns a clown the art to please, humbles the vain, kindles the cold, makes misers free, and cowards bold. 'Tis he reforms the sot from drink, and teaches airy fops to think. This treatise on love reminds me of one of the most courageous feminine characters that came from William Shakespeare, that of Rosalind, his master female creation. Rosalind is forced to go into the forest of Arden dressed as a man for protection. And while she is there, she notes poems all over every tree in Arden with her name on them, and discovers that the young man that she fell in love with just prior to fleeing the court and arriving in Arden is here in Arden as well. His name is Orlando. She happens upon him and finds a very courageous and clever way to make sure that she sees this young man whom she is desperately in love with every day, even though she's dressed like a boy. Love is merely a madness, and I tell you deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. The reason why they are not punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel. I've so cured one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me, his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of sighs, for every passion nothing, and for no passion truly anything at all, as boys and women are, for the most part, cattle of this color, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, then weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and live in a nook merely monastic. And thus I cured him. And this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall not be one spot of love in it. I would cure you if you would but call me Rosalind and come every day to my cote and woo me. Our dear Aphra is interred at Westminster Abbey, where her epitaph reads, "Here lies a proof that wit can never be defense enough against mortality." An action item regarding Aphra tomb is ordered by Virginia Woolf in a room of one's own. Virginia recognized Aphra's courage and was thankful for it, and asks all women to recognize her courage and be thankful for it too. All women together ought to let flowers fall upon the tomb of Aphra Behn, which is most scandalously, but rather appropriately, in Westminster Abbey, for it was she who earned them the right to speak their minds. It is she, shady and amorous as she was, who makes it not quite fantastic for me to say to you tonight, earn 500 a year by your wits. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to the next time. Goodbye.